Let's discuss the theoretical idea that Earth is a closed system. TikTok, this is strictly for entertainment purposes only. The ancient Egyptians, using this particular symbol, or as we now call it, Wakanda forever, is an actual representation of quantum superposition because you have two pyramids, as above, so below, right? And in this diagram, I will explain and break down exactly how that went. Using the sun as a portal, or the black hole, or the black dot, which is the sun, which is a representation of melanin or God, they were able to quantum jump through that to get to the field of reeds, and reeds grow on the side of water. So if outer space or outside of this sphere is water, then of course there would be reeds growing at a certain place. But you have to get to that seventh heaven, which is above the waters. And this is how they were going about doing that, through quantum superposition. So this means that the ancient Egyptians understood that instead of going through the moon machine, it would be better for you to go through the sun portal, okay, versus you reincarnating into a body. And they use these pyramids in order to project a holographic image of a pyramid above and below to create quantum superposition for their souls after they died. So they would come back to their body and see these inscriptions or instructions on how to go about doing that. The burial chambers for the Egyptians would be underneath a pyramid, and there would be a capstone that would project the sun's light to create a holographic pyramid on top of that, which creates two pyramids facing each other. And in the middle is where the soul, or the black dot, or the photon light body would go to quantum jump. As I explained to you previously, there will be a black sun gravitational singularity event. And in order for you to make it past this event, you have to make sure that your light body is clear, or mayat, meaning that you don't have any sins or syntax errors within your analog body. So in order for them to get through this particular sun portal, they would have to clear or mayat balance their bodies before they could go through, because the sun's energy being so high vibrational would destroy any sin. So that basically means they needed to confess, or they needed to get all of that stuff off of their chest before they passed away, before trying to pass through this sun portal. The Egyptians used the hieroglyphics to explain scientific processes. They're talking about frequency when they're talking about mayat and the light body being able to pass through the sun portal to get to the seventh heaven. They're talking about nuts, which is the wing nut magnets that govern the north and the south node of Earth's magnetic sphere. The soul in quantum superposition, which is the same as the moon machine. The moon machine itself has this process, but in a very condensed machine. This machine, that diagram that I created of the moon machine, actually sits between two pyramids in quantum superposition. It's the exact same process. However, it is technologically housed within the moon. This is what the ancient Egyptians were doing with the pyramids. The word pyramid is basically a representation of pi, which is 3.14, radius, middle. In the book of Revelations 21:21, it states, and the 12 gates were 12 pearls. Every several gate was of one pearl. And the street of the city was pure gold, as it were transparent glass. So as you can see here, once we go through this light transformation, as I said to you before, and this sun event happens and this solar flare basically bursts and turns most of everything into this crystal city, you're also going to have this second part of the process, which is we needed the gold in order to stop resets from happening. So we came here to this planet to mine gold, and we created a subspecies in order to do so. And what we will do at the end of time is take this gold dust to put into the atmosphere to work as a conductive material to keep the sun's energy from dying, so that we never have to do another reset ever again. It will be a conductive material that basically bounces light back into the sun fusion engine, okay? So that continues to burn forever and ever, and it never goes out, and we live forever, and we don't have to continuously go through these cycles of resets. The sun in and of itself within this earth atmosphere will be the new heaven, and we will create this gold dust in order to keep the sun from going out ever again, and we won't need the moon machine either. The sun itself will be stationary, and it will no longer be moving or being pulled by the different magnetic entities that govern space. So Revelation 6:12, talking about the shutdown of the moon machine, which is basically the moon turning red or turning as blood and everything coming undone, because the resonance of the moon machine is no longer holding all matter together because of the birth of the man child in Revelation 12, who is going to shut down the moon machine by reintroducing the 13th bloodline. The moon must shut down first, because there is an order of operations in order to reignite the new sun. You're going to have to shut down the moon machine first. Remember the order of operations that we had when shutting down and booting up computers back in the day? Turn off the monitor, put the disk in the disk drive, close the door, then turn on the computer. Well, the machine has to be shut down first so that it can loosen or it can release all of those chemicals, and then the explosion will happen of the sun's energy to burst because the moon machine shut down. So that has to happen first in the order of operations. By shutting down the moon machine first and removing these elements from the atmosphere, as well as the resonance from the atmosphere, it will then cause the sun to burst all of its energy and ignite basically a new sun underneath. But the moon has to shut down first in order for this process to happen, so we can have a new sun. So these two magnets on the north and south node of the magnetic sphere, which is Earth, basically rotate these balls, and it actually put the sun in tow, which is why the sun moves around as well. Its energy is also attached to the moon and everything that is around it, creating this circular motion, which creates time. In essence, making Earth itself a time machine. It is basically creating this circular pattern or this rotation with the sun, which is actually what creates time. So once the moon machine shuts down, we will no longer have time because all of, as it says in Revelation 6:12, the stars will fall from heaven, which are the alloy balls, and the moon will be destroyed. So there will no longer be this magnetic pull going around and pulling the sun in tow. There will be no more nights because the sun will actually sit stationary at the center, as it states in Revelations 22 verse 5, and there shall be no night there, and they need no candle, neither light of the sun, for the Lord God giveth them light, and they shall reign forever and ever. So here you have the reference to God being the sun's energy or as the light. And there will be no night because there won't be any more rotating of the sun around, being in tow of this magnetic sphere or these different alloys that are creating this rotation as satellites moving the sun in tow. It will be sitting at the center of the earth, and there will never be night because the sun will not move at all. So in the ancient Hermetic texts or books like the Lost Book of Enki, you had this technologically advanced race that came to Earth. They heard that there was gold here. And in order to mine the gold, they needed to create an atmosphere. They needed to encase their light photon bodies within matter, because in order to mine gold, you had to have a physical body. And in essence, they also needed to create this time loop, or basically this time machine, to give us time in order to exist within this space, in order for us to mine the gold for the future sun. We started off in the Garden of Eden, basically creating or cloning these different subspecies to mine the gold. And now we're moving back into the future in the age of technology or advanced information. This is why the Bible speaks of in the end times knowledge increasing. So yes, the rumors are true. We are descendants of an alien race, at least I know that I am, that came to Earth and seeded planet Earth in order for us to mine the gold for the future sun so that we can stop all resets from ever happening. And we're finally getting back to that space. And you have these different visitors that are coming in from interdimensional spaces in order to help us usher in this new reality that we're heading into when the great solar flash happens. I hope you enjoyed this content. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe, and put a comment down in the comments just to let me know what you think of this content overall. Keep shining bright. Peace, love, and light.